Welcome everyone to Strange Adventures, I'm Josh, and today we're talking about comics. There's a new Vampire the Masquerade comic called Winter's Teeth, and I've just finished reading the second, what are these called? Episodes? Volumes? I don't know much about comics, so this is coming from a less comic integrated nerd, but it is coming from a hardcore vampire nerd, so I know what I'm talking about, and I can happily report that these gorgeous pages contain some really intriguing starts to stories. I never understood comics because I was like, there's barely any story in here. You start off in one place and then you end up very close to where you started, but no, there's maybe that was just I was reading the wrong comics, but these individual little things are the first ever comics like this that I've ever bought. I normally buy the collected volumes of like Hellblazer or classic ones that everyone reads, like Watchmen or whatever, stuff like that, but now I'm getting used to getting one of these every month. It feels really good. It's nice. It's fun. And I am a massive fan of the stories that seem to be converging, as well as, let me get you my favorite piece of art from here. Just this one panel right here that is really not very well drawn, but there's like some blood magic here. Dude dips his finger in a glass of blood and then just like tears the souls out of it. I don't know, there's faces everywhere. I love it. Don't know what he's up to. Very powerful vampire, very cool stuff going on, and lots of blood everywhere. Bagged blood, magic blood, yummy blood, crying blood, messy blood, artistic blood, squishy blood, gushing blood, vomit blood,
blood, and bits of sick.
They are really hammering home the fact that Cecily Bane, which is one hell of a name, it's definitely a player character kind of name that you would find in a game of Vampire the Masquerade, but she begins her life in this story as an enforcer, I think a hound, and in volume 2 she's referred to as a dirty boot by the prince, but she works for the prince of the Twin Cities, Minneapolis and St. Paul's, which are two cities in America that I don't know much about. I remember there being a very popular actual play of Vampire the Masquerade called Twin Cities by Night, but I've never had the opportunity to listen to it, and certainly there's never been a comic based on there, and I don't know if there's any lore. But yeah, Cecily is a badass. She's not a nice person, as evidenced in the first scene, where she literally tears the throat out of someone that she's working with. Like, she has to clear up a breach of the masquerade, and which is like the vampire laws in this book, and she does it by killing a mortal, because there's a vampire who likes the mortal, and even though she kills this person, she's still strangely honest about the likelihood of this person not breaking the rules and telling everyone about vampires, because that's the big secret. Vampires are real. No one knows, or very few people know, there is vampire hunters, which we see turn up really quick. And like I say, Cecily is a badass and just rips people apart because she's supposed to. She abides by the rules. And then things get complicated for her, wherein she finds someone that I'm very confused about. Her name is Alejandra, and she's a big old question mark in this story, and I really like it because she seems to be new, but there is something threatening about her aura, something that we haven't seen yet and is only alluded to in a couple of really gorgeous panels where there's almost a dream of what Alejandra remembers as she's turned, because she doesn't know what kind of vampire she is. She doesn't know what her clan is. And seemingly out of nowhere, out of the kindness of Cecily's heart, maybe, she tries to adopt this new vampire and pass her off as her own child, someone that she turned herself, which is an interesting play. Cecily has a really, really wonderful characterization in this book. I think both the main characters, actually, because this is technically two stories that seem to be coming together. There's Cecily, who is in charge. She's got position of power. She's working for someone high up and gets her orders directly from the prince. Prince Samantha Moraine, who we see in the second. In fact, this is her on the cover in this gorgeous, instantly recognizable as, hang on, I've got to get it for you, instantly recognizable as Toreador picture with a paintbrush dripping with red paint. She has basically everything she could want, and gifts kind of bestowed on her for her amazing work that she rejects because she doesn't want to be in a position where she owes this person anything other than the work from her job. And then on the other side is the, I guess, underclass of vampires, the Thin Bloods. It follows a woman called Colleen and her kind of makeshift family, who are all really lovely, and as soon as I saw them, I knew things would go badly for them, because they basically live in a bedsit. One of them has a Nosferatu curse. They're all kind of outcasts. They've got this found family, and they appear to have been, this is a part I'm confused on, summoned to Minneapolis for some unknown reason. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, but they decide to make a road trip, and the entire thing is about them kind of arguing and preparing for a road trip, which would normally be really simple, but for them it is the least simple thing ever. There's dangers, there's hunters, there's werewolves, there's the sun, there's the distance and having to sleep in a car or in underground or in, I don't know, public toilets that you find. That's just off the top of my head, but the tension between them is palpable because Colleen is a Thin Blood that was turned by her husband, her now ex-husband, and like they're still in this group together, and just like seeing where all these different relationships go with the characters is fascinating, and I'm really, really excited to be getting one of these every month. And now for a little bit of criticism, as I don't know, this is, I guess, a point that you can decide for yourself, but I would like to mention the thing that happens to a butt-ton of Vampire the Masquerade stories, books, games, is that they do tend to spend a lot of time explaining what things, or not a lot of time, but it comes up almost every time they explain, like, there's a new clan, they're the Tremere, they're the wizards. And because Vampire the Masquerade uses so many weird, stupid words, like Bruja, how's anyone going to know what that is? It's inevitable that they will explain what each thing means, and the blood bond, and the intricate lore, which I 100% genuinely love how they've used the lore in this book so far. They're not like making a big song and dance about it. It's just like the power structures and the cool vampire abilities that they use, and they show them really interestingly. As there's a bit where Alejandra seems to be escaping from something very early on. Hang on, I don't know whether, is it first off? Yeah, it's like the first thing you see, and it's literally Alejandra in midair trying to jump onto a moving train. How cool is that? And then there's another bit where Alejandra's like trying to get away from Cecily as she stumbles into her domain. And yeah, here it is. Like, just smashing open. Like, there's so much energy in this art. It's really cool. And like the genuine horror in some in some of these faces is amazing. And it seems to be quite heavily inspired by all the wonderful Vampire the Masquerade art that's come before it. So like I said, I don't know how many different covers there are. These are just the ones that I got sent. I'm not going to collect them all, but there are different variations if you do want that. And these would look amazing on anyone's bookshelf. And I don't know, it's because they are trying to introduce Vampire to so many new people. They're always doing this explaining thing, which I guess makes sense. It's just, as someone who has come into Vampire and basically knows all the things that are going on, I'm kind of tired of hearing about what a blood bond is for the umpteenth time. But whatever, if it brings in new people, I'm cool with that. Genuinely, I think I am going to be continuing to read all of these. First off, it's gotten me into comics a little bit. And there's one amazing thing that they do. As I'm flicking through, I realized there's an amazing thing that they do, and I can't, now I've lost the page. But because vampires have this kind of bestial side to them, they've got a side to them that wants to take over, that wants to like just drain the blood out of everyone they see and find power and wealth and fame and strength and just beat the crap out of anything and make sure it's subjugated to them. The worst instincts of people. And I'm going to be looking through this. Here it is. Every now and again, they outline a bubble, a speech bubble in red. I don't know if it shows up very well there, but they outline a speech bubble in red when people are clearly like rubbing a bit of their beast on it is what I was going to say, but that sounds gross. When they were very clearly succumbing to some extreme emotional anguish and like rage that comes from being a vampire. A little bit close to losing it, and I can't find any examples. There's a couple of them every now and again, and it's a really nice detail. I just want to show you this cool art of a vampire throwing up blood because I think it's gross, and that is the kind of art style and level of grimness that you can expect from this comic series. Like I said, very excited to continue reading it. And to top it all off, before I jump away and we, I guess, discuss what your favorite things about this comic are, what characters you like, if you're even going to read it, in the comments, are that at the very back of the book, they are using sections from the actual rules to create their own stuff, and I love it. They even put in a character sheet in the second one that you can like copy and paste off. They've got their own little blood marks on it, but this is the full and proper character sheet for those that are inspired by this comic to run or play their own game, which I love. And so, for instance, episode 2, I don't know what to call them. What's a comic book volume thingy? It's the comic book, book 1, book 2, whatever. You know what I mean. This thing. In number 2, it gives you something called a lore sheet, which if you've not played the game, the 5th edition has lore sheets to kind of fill out very specific sections of the story and the background for characters, either a powerful vampire they know, or a society that they're part of, or a place that they live, such as one of the 2 twin cities. And I don't know anything about Minneapolis or St. Paul, so there's little blurbs here that really explain a lot about how you could run your game in one of these places, or just a bit of background about like the parts of the city that inspired the cool vampire stuff that goes on in this comic. So there's like I say, the lore sheet for the 2 cities in number 2. And in number 1, it actually gives you a character sheet for the 2 main characters. There's Winter's Teeth and Anarch Tales, which is seemingly what it's broken up into. But Cecily Bane and Colleen Pendergrass, who is the Thin Blood. You've got like a list of all of her stats, as well as a list of all of a little bit of her contacts and what might be going on around her character. It gets close to a little bit of spoiler, but I think they do a good job of kind of elucidating on how you could use this character while you're playing and not spoiling what, you know, like vital background stuff. Like it talks about Cecily's sister and her, like a little bit more explicitly her relationship to her and where she came from. Like, she was born Cecily Banashevsky in 1952. That's not something that's going to spoil anything. Your Thrall and Tools might. She knows street level informants. There's lots of cool stuff. She was related to the goth scene. Like, this isn't going to get in your way of enjoying it, and it might even improve it. So I love this. I'm gonna do a thing here. Sorry. Who, I don't know who the writer is. Seeley, Howard and Howard, Pramanik, Gooden, Duke, and Andweld are credited on the front. I'm really sorry, but you got your Thin Blood merits and flaws wrong. It says here that I'm going to be the nerd. Actually, you've got your Thin Blood merits and flaws wrong here, and I bet you've heard this a lot, but Colleen Pendergrass has 2 Thin Blood merits, Day Drinker and Lifelike, which means she can go out in the sun and is very good at appearing normal and human. However, she only has 1 Thin Blood flaw, when, by the rule book, she should have 2. One for one. You get 1 flaw and you get one merit. I'm very sorry, but you've got it wrong, and the entire book is ruined for me. That's it. That's my nitpick. Sorry. And let's put the nerd back in the box. I don't want to go back in the... No, you're going back in the box. Okay, we're done here. Thank you. Let me know, like I say, what you think of these comics in the comments. Are you going to run something in the Twin Cities? Are you going to visit the Twin Cities? That might not be a great idea in 2020, but I'm really, really happy to learn more. And when I get a few more issues, is that what they're called? Did I just get it right? When I get a few more issues, I will tell you more about what I think of this comic book series. So until next time, thank you for watching. Subscribe if you want more vampire and role-playing content. But until next time, goodbye.